Welcome everyone. Today's topic is virtual live property tour in Wooddale. So we're going to do a deal no deal analysis. So the first question that you should ask yourself, if you're presented a wholesale deal, these came from a wholesaler and they're asking for 165 in Wooddale. So the next question is, should I pursue the deal? Right? So you only have three exit strategies in real estate. You either fix and flip, wholesale, or buy and hold. So the first thing, before even looking at the property, you need to understand what your goal is. If you're gonna fix it and then flip it, then you need to make sure that Wooddale is a market that is gonna support flips. If you wanna do rental, the same thing applies. You've gotta make sure that Wooddale is a market that supports your exit strategy, okay? So once we get a good understanding of the area, then we can move on and look at the property. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into briefly understanding Wooddale as an area, what exit strategies Wooddale supports. And then we're gonna take a look at the property. And remember, when we take a look at the property, before even we look inside the property, we need to look at location, right? We just want to make sure that it's in a decent location before we take a deep dive. And then we're going to talk about numbers. If that's the third step, right? If everything looks good at the market level and then at the location level, then we're going to talk about some rule of thumbs when it comes to analyzing deals. It's very simple. You don't even need a calculator to analyze a deal. So it's going to be super powerful. I'm very excited. So the first thing is, this property is offered by a wholesaler for $165,000 in Wooddale. So I'm not 100% familiar with Wooddale. Okay, that's going to be the assumption. When you look at a property, you've got to assume you know nothing about the property. So the first thing that you need to do is come to DealVault and let's find out what Wooddale is all about. So I'm going to click on area reports and then I'm going to search Wooddale. Okay, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Wooddale. Okay, so we just want to know the area in a nutshell. So it's in DuPage County. It's a B area. Remember, we categorize the areas, A being the best, D being a war zone, right? So this is B area. That's great. Especially in this crisis, right? We want to invest in B and A areas. C and D have been hit the hardest, okay? Because people have lost their jobs in C and D areas. They're white label, mostly hourly employees, and they can work remotely versus B and A areas. People get to work remotely, so they're still employed. That's what it comes down to. So now, the first thing that you want to know is this a rental market? Is this a flipping market? Right here, approach. We're going to tell you both approaches are supported in Wooddale. So that's a good sign. Okay, the next thing that I want to know is how much is the median sales price for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath? Right here, sweet spot to buy a detached is $270,000. Okay. And then I want to know rents. So rents, it's pretty good, right? Median rental income for a 3-bedroom is $1,895. Okay. And obviously we can go deeper into the report, but right now we have enough information because you should be able to analyze deals very, very quickly. So obviously, you know, we can scroll down as we've done in the past and dive deep into the details, crime, rental markets, flipping markets, into more details. But right now, we just have enough information to move forward with the analysis. So far, this is good, right? So this area supports flips and rentals. So Wooddale seems to be a great area. It's a B area. Sweet spot to buy a single family home is $270,000, and then the rents are $1,895. Okay, so now let's take a look at the property, right? So far, the first step is understand your area. Those areas support your exit strategy. So far, if you want to do a flip or a rental, looks good. The next thing that we want to do is we want to look at the location of the property, okay, before even start running numbers or we go inside the property, which we're going to go inside the property today. So what I want to do, I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a power search. So I'm going to do a search for the property 128 West Walnut Street, actually 128 Walnut in Wooddale Avenue, okay? So we're gonna search and find and see what it comes up with, right? So we're gonna look for MLS entries, we're gonna look for off-market. So this seems to be an off-market property. So the first thing that I wanna know is location. So right here, I'm gonna zoom in. I just want to zoom in. So the blue marker is a property. So it seems to be, I'm looking for, I'm going to tell you what you need to look for. You need to look for negative factors that will affect property values, such as near rivers, cemeteries, train tracks, busy streets, airports. That's going to affect your property value. Okay, so far it looks fine, right? So this is, I want to make sure this is not a cemetery. Yeah, no, it's a park. This is also a park. The river is quite far, so I think it's fine. The next thing that I like to do is a street view, right? You want to make sure that the street looks okay, it looks decent. I mean, this is a B area in DuPage. So this is the subject property. Let me move over. This is the subject property right here. We're looking at it. So far, it looks good. So the street looks good. So now the next thing that we need to know is analyze a property. Okay, so when we analyze a property, we need to look at few things, and I'm going to give you the rule of thumbs. So rule number one, when you analyze a property, you want to know how much they're asking for. So the sales price or asking price is $165,000. So this is going to be rule number one when you analyze a property. From the purchase price, you have to add 75,000 to 100,000. Okay, so if they're asking for 165, I'm going to add 100,000. So it's going to be 265. So that's what the ARV should be, the minimum, 265. And the rehab should be light to medium. So on the rehab, we should not spend more than 40,000. Okay, the minute you start spending over 40,000, then you're touching many systems. Okay, like electrical, plumbing, perhaps roof, windows, foundation. So we just want to focus on light to medium rehabs, which means that we're gonna do cosmetic work like flooring, painting, light fixtures, updating the kitchens, the bathrooms, but we just don't want to do the big ticket items like HVAC, right? Roof, windows, redo the electric, redo the plumbing, foundation, exterior, a lot of deck work, okay? Because every system that we touch is gonna add about 10,000 for the rehab or scope of work. So we just need to be careful. So right now, the first thing is they're asking for 165. These better appraised for at least 265. Okay, so that is rule number one of thumb. Now, second rule of thumb, if you're going to buy and hold, then you need to make sure that 1% of your purchase price and rehab is what you're going to be collecting in rent. So let me pull up the calculator and give you an example. So for instance, if they are asking for 165 plus the rehab, let's say that we are going to put in 35,000, okay? So it's 200,000. So 1% of 200,000 is 2,000. So we better collect at least 2,000 in rent a month. Otherwise, we're gonna struggle with positive cash flow on this property should we decide to do a rental, okay? So an easy way to find out this rule of thumb, I'm gonna scroll down and then I'm gonna click on the rental calculator. And right here, rent estimate, it's 2,200. So it's looking good. So far, the property needs to appraise for at least 265. I'm confident it should appraise for that because I see that this property is pretty big, right? 4-bedroom, 3-bath, but keep in mind, these entries are done by real estate brokers. So there might be some data entry errors. I'm not gonna 100% rely on the square footage, the number of bathrooms and bedrooms. We need to go inside the property. But so far, rents are high. Property values in Wooddale are high. So this could be a potential great deal, okay? So now the next thing is to take a look at the property because we wanna see how much work it needs. Also, we wanna take a look at the exterior condition of the property because if it's a good rehab or if it requires a lot of work, it's going to kill the numbers. So even before, what I like to do is I wanna ensure that the property is going to appraise for at least 265. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to verify that it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square feet, right? So how do we verify that? So let's take a look at the property, okay? So right here, boom, we're gonna do a 3D view on the property. So right here. Okay, so I love this view. Perfect, okay? So what we're gonna do is, it's got, so I'm gonna put it facing sideways. So we can see that it's a 2-story and it has a basement. So if I rotate the property, it has a basement right there. So now with these views, we're gonna be able to get a close-up on the exterior. So before you look at the inside, please, let's take a look at the exterior. Like the virtual property tour we did in Garfield Park, the exterior needed so much work that it was not worth going inside the property, okay? So remember, location is number 1, which this is okay. Number 2, exterior. And then if exterior looks decent, then you go inside. So let's just take a different views on the exterior. So this seems to be the backyard, which is pretty big. Okay, the fence, I need some landscaping, the fence. Now let's take a look at the property from behind. So it's got an AC or a condenser, that's good. Now something that catches my eye right here is the windows, the storm windows. So they look like metal, so that's pretty dated. So this property may need new windows. Do you see the condition of the windows from the outside? So things that are gonna be expensive items are windows, roof. You wanna take a closer look at the foundation. So, but before we go in the inside, I wanna take a look from the front of the property, okay? So now, right here. So this is the back of the property. So now it has a deck, you see? So I'm a little bit concerned about decks because they're very, very expensive. So hopefully the deck is in good shape, but we would need to get an inspection done on it. Okay, so let's take a different view. So this is the view of the front. So as you can see, you have a deck in the front, in the first floor, and then a deck on the second floor. And it looks a little bit rough, okay? So just by, it looks neglected, in other words, because you can see the landscape. Okay, now let's take a different view on this. That's another view. You can see that it does need work. the deck. But hopefully the structure is in good shape, right? If it just requires staining, it's not a big deal, but we just need to make sure that the condition is in good shape. So far it looks decent. Yeah, the street looks good. Now let's take another look on this side of the property right here. Okay, so that's the other side. So it's siding. As you can see, look at the downspout. It's disconnected. So for sure, this property has been neglected, okay? The siding looks good. My only concern right here is the windows so far. And I'm trying to see if we can take a closer look at the roof, okay? So the roof is something that could be a high ticket item, but when we go inside, we're gonna take a look at the ceiling to see if we see any issues. So now let's go inside the property, okay? Let's just walk the property. We're gonna start right here. Let's do the first floor. So this is a close-up on the windows. So these are the storm windows. So they look okay, actually. And then behind the storm window, you have the real window. So the windows may be okay. And here you get a closer look at the deck. Okay, so the deck just may need a little bit of work, but it doesn't seem like too bad. Okay, friends, so now let's go in the front door and take a look at the inside. Okay, so we're gonna go on the inside right here. So we're gonna start in the main entrance. Okay, so as soon as you enter the property, we're gonna walk the property, okay? So this is the first level. So the things that you're gonna need to look at, okay? You're gonna need to look at the ceiling, flooring, condition of the wall, light fixtures, because most properties are gonna need that, okay? And then I always like to look at the vents. I wanna make sure that this property has central air. We don't like properties that have wall units or window units, because then you may need to do the ductwork if you wanna do or have central air. So here, we're gonna be looking for vents. Also look for the light switch, right? So if they look dated, it's a red flag, because you might have a conduit or the flexible cable that the village might require you to upgrade. Okay, so let's just walk the property. It looks pretty filthy. It's got a lot of junk. So that's the main living area. This is like the dining area. So let's see if we can go inside the kitchen, because, okay, so this is the kitchen. Let's take a look at the kitchen. Yeah, the cabinets look very dated. The appliances obviously are not in good shape. The countertop is wood, so everything needs to go. If it's for a rental, potentially you can get by with the cabinets, but you need to upgrade the countertop. You need to upgrade the appliances. So yeah, it's in okay condition. Okay, so as expected, we need to do some work on the property. Now, there's got to be a bathroom on the first floor, so we'll try to locate the bathroom. And we might as well. So from the kitchen, we can walk down the basement. So let's go down to the basement. Okay, when you go to the basement, the things that you want to look at is, does it look like you have foundation or cracks on the wall, right? Are the walls straight? You want to look for signs of flooding. And then, because those are the expensive ticket items, right? And then you want to look at the mechanicals, like the furnace, the water heater. So now we're entering the laundry room. Okay. They have so much junk. So that's something to keep in mind. When you buy these type of properties, all the belongings stay with the property. So to clean up this property, let's just walk the property, but it's gonna be in the thousands, okay? Okay, so I think this is the mechanicals. as you can see, this is the boiler room. Let me just walk in front of the water heater. But the water heater, I think it looks good. It's a little bit dark, but let me just see it from right here. So it looks not too bad. And then you have the furnace on the right-hand side. So it tells me that you have central air, okay? And then the mechanicals are in good shape. I think, yeah, this is another room in here outside of the mechanicals. It's got so much belongings. Okay, so let's go into this room over here. What's this? Oh, okay, so this is where we came from. So here we can go up, back up to the stairs. Okay, let's go out to the first floor again. I'm gonna take a shortcut and flip the property. Okay, so here we did the basement. So we look at the room. This is the mechanicals room. I'm looking at the basement. Okay, so right here. Now we did the kitchen. We did the living area. I want to take a look at the upper floor and then find the bathroom. We need to see the condition of the bathroom. So before we go to the second floor, let's go to the bathroom. So let's go towards the kitchen. And there's got to be a door that leads to the bathroom. Oh, I see here. I see the bathroom on the left. So the bathroom, oh, look at the light switch, right? This looks pretty dated. So that's something that could be a red flag. It might need upgraded electrical. So let's take a quick look at the bathroom. It looks very dated. Okay, so look at the vanity, the mirror, the tile. This is 8x8, so this is super, super dated. So you need a brand new bathroom, whether you rent or flip. So that's one bathroom right here. So it's totally dated. Now, let's walk up stairs to the second floor where the bathrooms are. Okay, so we've seen the kitchen. Now let's just rotate the property and see the second floor right here. Let's go up to the second floor. And then we are on the second bathroom upstairs. Let's take a quick look. It is very dated. The tile, the backsplash is 8x8. The vanity is just, everything needs to go, guys. Yeah, this is super dated. Here we take a look at the windows. So the windows seem to be okay, in okay shape. So windows can stay, okay? But the rest of the stuff in the bathroom really needs some upgrading. The bathtub you can keep, that's not a problem. So now let's walk the bedrooms. Okay. So right here, whoa, they left a lot of personal belongings. Let's go inside the room. Whoa, that's a big mess. So what I told you, I mean, the windows are fine. I like the size of the bedrooms. And then look at the ceiling. When you enter the second floor, you want to look always at the ceiling, okay, to see if you see any watermarks, any damage in the ceiling. But so far, it looks okay. You don't see stains in the ceiling. Okay, so now let's go inside another bedroom on the second floor. So let's flip the property here. Let's go inside this bedroom. So it has 3 bedrooms. We've seen 1, 2. So there are good size bedrooms. I'm surprised how much personal belongings they left behind. We've seen that bathroom. Oh, here's the other bedroom right here. Whoa, this is a little bit smaller. It's got so much. So you can hardly see the walls or anything. So I see 3 bedrooms on top of 1 bathroom. So friends, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, okay? It's not a 4-bedroom. So perhaps they were counting the bedroom in the basement, but you don't count bathrooms that are below the ground level, okay? So the MLS is obviously incorrect, and this is not a 3,000 square foot property, okay? This is less than 2,000. So obviously there was data entry in here. Okay, so price, they left everything behind. Okay, so we quickly took a look at the property. So now the next step is, before we look into the numbers, I want to see your comments. Okay, so here, let me see. Great comments. So let me read the comments. Is exterior painting on rehab okay? Yeah, absolutely, Debbie. You can paint siding. So the siding, usually it's either plastic or metal, but this is, yeah, you can paint that. Gutters look new. Yeah, that's a good point. No garage. That's a good point. We didn't see the garage in the back, but let me take another look on the outside in the backyard. So typically the garage is in the backyard, but if you don't see a garage, oh yeah, I see, right there. There's a two-car garage, right there. So we do have a garage, and then not sure if the second level deck is usable. It looks way different from the other houses, absolutely. So I don't think it's that usable, and it looks really old to have a deck on the second floor. Another question is, where did you get virtual tour view? Oh, okay, so it's a technology called Matterport. If you can look at the URL, you can check this website, Matterport, okay? Now another comment is new carpet, basement walls seem to leak. That's a good point. That's a half a bath in the basement. Yeah, great comments. So we could have 2.5 baths. And then it says it looks very crowded. Absolutely. Debbie said, run. We need a substantial clean out budget. Absolutely. There is an attic above. Absolutely. You have an attic on the second floor. Why the double fence on the backyard? Okay, so double fence. Yeah, that's a good point. I have no clue, but it's a big backyard and they do have a garage, okay? So what I want to take a look at, let me see. Yeah, wanted to take a second look at the deck, okay? But yeah, it does have a garage in the back and then people park on the driveway in the front. So now the next step is to find out how much do you believe this is gonna cost to rehab the property, okay? Now, there's another question. How do you know it's 2,000 and not 3,000? Okay, so because I've seen many properties, 3,000 are huge properties where they have more rooms, where the kitchens are a lot bigger, but this is not a 3,000 square foot. It is for sure less than 2,000. That's just from experience. So what they did here is they took into account basement as well. But even then, it's not 3,000 square feet because just by looking at the size of the rooms, the kitchen, the bathrooms, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath property with basement, it's usually less than 2,000 square feet. But there are some suburbs where they have like shoe boxes. I mean, just by looking at the property from the outside, you're going to tell right away, whoa, this is a huge property. Now, another question is, or the old fence belongs to the property and the new fence belongs to the new house next door? Yeah, potentially, absolutely. That's a great point, Mark. So the property needs a lot of work. So let me just tell you, we've talked about the numbers before. So let me pull up the scope of work. So we have a scope of work, we have a one-sheet scope of work, and we have a more detailed scope of work. But before you even dive into that, just as a rule of thumb, okay, if the property needs light to medium rehab, just multiply the square footage times 2, and that's going to give you a rough estimate of how much it's going to cost to repair this. So if this property is about 2,000 square feet, multiply this by 2, so it's going to be, or $20 a square foot, is going to be about 40,000 at least, okay, to rehab this property. no less than 40,000. So this is what we need to do on the property. We need to do the flooring. We need to upgrade the kitchen. So as I speak, I'm just gonna give you the numbers very quickly. So for before you start getting into doing any rehab, you need to clean the property, right? So to clean this property, you're gonna need like at least 4 dumpsters. Each dumpster is about 400, plus you need the labor. So to clean this property, remove all that, is going to be no less than 3,500 just for demo work, cleanup work. Okay, now kitchens are usually 7 to 10,000 to upgrade, and that includes appliances. So here, whether you flip it or rent it, you need newer appliances. So ideally stainless steel. The cabinets are old. You need backsplash. You need a countertop. So we are going to add. So I'm going to put in 3,500 for the cleanup work. And then we're gonna add about 9,000 just for the kitchen, okay? Then we have 2 bathrooms, okay? Each bathroom is about 4,000. That includes labor and material. It's a brand new bathroom, okay? We cannot salvage anything. Perhaps the bathtub on the second floor, we can salvage that, but other than that, it's gonna be about 8,000 just for the 2 bathrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. So I'm gonna add 8,000. So 1,200 plus 8,000. So that's gonna be, we're at 20,000. So I'm gonna add the 2 bathrooms. So kitchen and bathrooms. So far we're at 20,000 doing the kitchen, the bathroom, and the cleanup. So now we still need to do the floor. We still need to paint the property. Okay, so to paint the property, this size property is going to be about 4,000, and that will include painting the basement. Okay, so right now we are at 24,000. Now we need light fixtures, right? And when you open up a property, you're gonna do some work on the electric and plumbing. It may not be extensive. I'm a little bit concerned about the electric work because the type of light switches that we've seen. So typically for light work on electric, you need to account for like 3,500, okay? Just light, electric, 3,500. And then the same for plumbing. So we're gonna add plumbing plus, so we're at 28,000, we're gonna add another 35 for plumbing, right? So we're at about 31 or 31,000. That includes light plumbing, light electric, painting, upgrading the bathrooms, the kitchens, and we're still missing the flooring, okay? So flooring is going to be about, on this size property, multiply the square footage times about $3 per square feet. So it's going to be 5,000 to 6,000 to do flooring on both floors. So I'm going to add 6,000 for the flooring. So we are at like 37,500 to be precise. Okay. And we have not yet touch the exterior, okay? So we still need to do the exterior. So the deck, we still need to make sure that the mechanicals are in working condition. The furnace and the water heater, they look okay. They had a condenser in the outside. So hopefully they're all working, but you always have to account for HVAC work, okay? So based on what I've seen, you know, if you were missing the AC condenser, it's about 2,000. So we're just going to count at least in your budget for 2,000 for HVAC work. Okay, so plus 2,000, so we are at very close to 40,000 in rehab. Okay, and then we still need to look at the roof. That's one of the things that, you know, could be expensive. 7,000 to 10,000, and the deck work. Okay, so we have the deck, the roof, And also we have the garage, okay, to take a look at. So we have three items that we still don't know how much or what it would take. So you need to account for that. And then obviously landscaping. Landscaping is gonna be about 2,000 for landscaping, cleanup, and then, so we're easily at 41,000, but so right now, right off the bat, you want to spend less than 40,000 rehabbing this property, but remember, you always need to account for the unexpected. So you need a cushion of 5 to 10,000 for the oops factor. So I would say this needs between 40 to $50,000 just to bring this up to a condition where we can rent and command 2,200 a month, and or flip the property and command the top price. Now there's another question. Why the double fence? Okay, no, we addressed that. How do you know it's 2,000? Oh, I think we've done that. Oh, do we know the age of the house? No, we do not know the age of the house. We would need to, once you get a survey, you're gonna get more details on the age of the house. But right now, when we do the analysis, it's not that relevant, to tell you the truth. But yeah, this property is gonna take 40 to 50,000. Now, the question is, how much is this property worth, right? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna pull some comps, okay, in Wooddale. So I'm gonna go to the comps, and then what I'm going to do is, so bedrooms, we need to look at properties that are 3 bedrooms. And then bathrooms, we want 1 to 3 bathrooms that sold in the last 6 months. Square footage, we're looking at properties between 1,750 all the way to maybe 2,500, okay? Square foot, 2,500 within a 1 mile radius. Let's find out what properties are selling for. So we found 2 comps, and they sold for 310 and 410, okay? So let me take a look at the first one that sold for 310. Because remember, we need the property to appraise for, they're asking for 165, they need to appraise, it needs to appraise for 265. So look at this. This is a 3 bedroom, 3 bath. Look at the square footage, 2,300. Does that make sense? So the other one, for sure, is not a 3,000 square feet. Let's take a look at the pictures. So this looks pretty nice. Okay. And then it's got a finished basement. It looks very nice. And then they staged the basement. So this is for sure a comp. Yeah, this property looks pretty nice. But the curb appeal is obviously better on this property because you don't have the deck. The deck makes it look a little bit dated, okay? So 308. Now let's take a look at the other property that sold for 400, okay? Whoa, this is not a comp, guys. Just look at the outside. It's for sure, this is like new construction, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 2,000 square feet, single family home. So I'm sure these will have all the bells and whistles. Yeah, look at the kitchen. So this is newer construction. It's got a deck, but this has got, you know, incredible rehab, okay? So this is not a comp, friends, from the property we just looked at. Even if we were to do the same finishes, just look at the size of the master bedroom. The bathrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. Look at the finished basement. So for sure, this is not a comp. So we only have one comp that we can look at, and this comp sold for 310,000. But something that you need to keep in mind, if I bring up the comp again, is the exterior. Okay, let me go into the details. I'm gonna scroll down and look at the details. I wanna see the exterior. Oh, brick. Okay, this comp is brick. So brick, adds about 20,000 on the ARV, okay, versus siding. So if we were to compare apples with apples, our subject property is not worth more than the upper 200, so like 290 at the most, okay? So now the question is, if our subject property ARV, in this case, we're showing 308, but the ARV, because this is siding, so it's gonna be no more than 285, 290 tops, okay, because it's siding. So now the question is, how much are you gonna pay for the property? Very simple. So let me show you how much we should pay for the property. So we compute this for you, but since we went ahead and did further analysis, I'm gonna pull up the calculator and give you the formula of how much we should offer, okay? So calculator, so it's gonna be the ARV, so the ARV is gonna be no more than 285. So now you need to multiply these times 70%, okay? Now, why 70%? 20% is, this is the formula for the max allowed offer when you do a flip. But even if you do a rental, you need to strive to pay the flip price, which is obviously lower than the rental price. So that is why we're gonna multiply these times 70%. 20% is your net profit on a flip, and the 10%, the remaining 10% is for holding expenses, carrying cost. So it's 199 minus the rehab. So for the rehab, based on what we've seen, I'm gonna put 50,000, okay? So the most we should pay for this property is 150,000. So the wholesaler is asking for 165,000. So the question is this a deal, no deal? What would you say? Would you go for this? Would you not go for this? And remember, keep in mind that it has to do with your background, right? This property needs a lot of work, okay? It's not so light to medium, especially because of the size of the property. So what would you guys say? No way. Yeah, counter the offer, no deal. I need your comments. It's a teardown. Yeah, very good. No deal. Absolutely, guys. This is a no deal, okay? No deal. No deal. So the wholesaler is asking for 165. If you were to pay 165, oh my goodness, that means that you are taking $15,000 away from the rehab. That means that you need to do this rehab in $35,000, and there is no way that's going to happen. Okay, so you cannot move forward unless you're paying no more than 150,000, and because of the amount of rehab that these needs, you need to touch pretty much everything. You shouldn't be a newbie in real estate. You need to be sort of like a mid to seasoned investor, okay? You need to have a couple of properties under your belt before you take on this project. So somebody says, I would pay 100,000 tops. Yeah, obviously, the less we can pay for the property, the better off. But I'm just giving you the max allowed offer. It's 150 for this property. But one of the things that I didn't like is the deck, right? On the second floor, the first floor, you don't see that in the street. When we did the street view on this property, you don't see that. So that's going to be something that it doesn't have. It's not appealing. It doesn't have that curve appeal, right, to the property. So don't try to force deals, guys. Deals, they just need to make sense. Think of this as when you meet somebody, right? Within minutes, you either have chemistry or you don't. It's just very simple, right? So properties are the same way, right? So you need to get a feel, right, for it. Please don't force things, right? The same thing as when you network with other individuals. You just get a feel for it, right? Whether you have chemistry with, whether you like the other individual is identical with real estate. Now, Mark has a question. Is this a corner lot? Let me look at the street view. So is this, yeah, this is a property. Let me close this other one. I don't think this is a map view. Let me zoom in. Yeah, no, this is not a corner lot, Mark. It's in the middle of houses. Another question is, would you take it, Hugo? No, absolutely no. I wouldn't take this property. It's a good neighborhood, but even if we have experience rehabbing, let me tell you, my rule of thumb is, and I'm gonna share all of this on Sunday. I want to take on projects where the property size is less than 1,800 square feet. Ideally, we stick to 1,500 square feet because the minute the square footage is in the 2,000 range, multiply that by 2. You're looking at 40,000 in rehab. We feel comfortable spending an average of 35,000 in rehab on the properties. Okay, the minute you hit the 40,000 and up, you're touching way too much. Okay, so I wouldn't feel comfortable with this. I think we can find way better deals. Okay, so I wouldn't take these because of the condition of the property, because the asking price 165 is way too much, and it just doesn't click. Okay, it's just not what we're looking for. Okay, so I wouldn't take these. Another question is DealVault a subscription service? Absolutely, it's a subscription service, Chris, and then you can get it for free today for the next 30 days. And then after that, it's gonna be $140. We have unlimited training. We have MLS access, so you can search the MLS as if you were a broker. We also have all off-market deals, probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions. We give you access to over 6,000 private money lenders, over 60,000 cash buyers. We give you all the analysis, contracts, pretty much everything that you need, including the preferred partners, right? So we give you access to our team right here, over 80 preferred partners. And then the area reports that has over 300 areas, neighborhoods analyzed. So you should be able to quickly analyze a deal in DealVault within seconds. Like the way I was able to pull comps, these comps are coming from the MLS, right? So we do have access to the MLS through DealVault. So it's just, we'll take your real estate investment efforts to the next level. Another question is, how do you find renters for newly rehab property? Okay, so you've got to put the property with in the MLS. The MLS is going to blast it to Zillow, Realtor, all the main websites. You also need to put it in Craigslist, and you need to be ready to show the property, do a background check, and we're going to cover property management on Sunday, baby. We're going to go into more details. Another question is, how is the DealVault software calculating the rehab cost? Oh, that's a great question. How do we come up with the rehab estimate? So the way we come up with this is based on primarily two assumptions. And the assumptions, when you click here, we tell you the disclosure, right? So the disclosure is that these properties are in a BC neighborhood, that it needs a light to medium rehab, and we take into account the square footage. Okay, so DealVault came up with 50 to 75,000, but guess what? That is taking into account that 3,000 square footage property, and this is not, right? So that is why the rehab is going to be more in the 40 to 50,000 for this property. It's not going to hit the 75,000 unless you want to do all the bells and whistles. It's not going to hit the 75,000, but still, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. So that's how DealVault computes that. So we run algorithms taking into account the area type, the square footage of the property, and the number of bedrooms and baths. That's how we come up with this. And obviously, with the assumption that it needs a light to medium rehab. It cannot be a rehab estimate for a gut rehab, right? So if it needs windows, roofs, electric, plumbing, this does not apply. So it has to be light to medium, touching the painting, flooring, occurring bathrooms, kitchens, light fixtures, that's it. No major repairs, okay, or touching the big systems. So that's how we calculate that. Are there any other questions on the line? So yeah, if you want to have access to DealVault, actually, you can sign up right here. So you can get it for free tonight. To get it for free, just select for the package. I highlighted right here package. Select special Chicago DealVault. Okay. For the package is special Chicago DealVault. And then the promo code is VT for virtual tour. Okay, so that's going to be VT, virtual tour. And that's how you can get it for free. And then we have unlimited training. Now, please make sure that the bootcamp be recorded as well? Yes, the bootcamp will be recorded as well. So if you don't have access to DealVault, please make sure that you get it now. Please RSVP to the bootcamp. Again, this is the bootcamp link. You can RSVP now. Again, we're going to have a ton of people in this event. It's going to be the largest ever event. That is why we're going to add a lot of value to all of you. So friends, if no further question, I want to quickly summarize everything that we did, okay? So when you take a look at a property, you're going to get it, Debbie, you're going to get a text message and an email with the password for the bootcamp. Yes, all the events now will have a password. Let's just quickly summarize what we did. When you're given or offer a property, the first thing that you need to do is, what am I going to try to do? Am I going to wholesale, flip, or rent? And once you know what you want to do, then you need to find out if the neighborhood supports that exit strategy, because you don't want to do a flip on a rental market and vice versa, right? Because you're going to lose money. So that's the first thing. Does the market support your exit strategy? Second thing that you need to look at, if that is a check mark and it's okay, like in this case, Wholesale supports flips and rentals, the next step is location, location, location. Take a look at the location of the property, make sure that it's nowhere near cemeteries, rivers, creeks, airports, busy streets, train tracks, commercial strips, because that's going to affect your property value, okay? Or your insurance, if it's near a river, flood insurance. So please, location, location, location. And then once that is passed, that's the second check mark. So the third check mark is to look at the outside of the property, right? Because many, many times you don't need to go inside the property once you look at the outside, okay? If the outside needs a ton of work, like siding, roof, deck work, garage, windows, and so forth, that might just kill the deal, right? You don't need to go inside the property. In this case, the outside looks neglected, but we just went inside the property, which is requires, extensive work, pretty much everything. We need to touch everything on this property. So that is why the rehab is going to be extensive. It has a finished a basement. So then once you take a look inside the property, you quickly need to come up with your max allowed offer price. And that's going to be driven based on your exit strategy. But even if you're going to buy and hold, please pay the flip price. So remember, the formula is the ARV times 70% minus the rehab, and that's your max allowed offer. Okay. So I hope you learned a lot today. I'm going to stay on the line for the next few minutes to help you either sign up, answer any questions. If not, I look forward to seeing you on Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay?